Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, a big welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode. And I've got lots of exciting news about shop update here in the beginning. So we'll talk about that first. Let's see here. I hope you're in for some fiber goodness. If you are new to this channel, I usually talk about hand-dyed yarn. I primarily do hand-dyed yarn, but I am starting to dabble with fiber arts other than that as well. So doing spinning, so I will be dealing with some fiber here. So if you are a spinner and you're interested in some raw fiber, or I should say processed fiber, stick around here because this is exciting and I'll talk about that first. So we'll get into the shop update first. So first and foremost, if you are not subscribed to the newsletter yet, please make sure you do so if you want to know about these kind of things like shop update information. I sent out the newsletter about a week ago, and well, actually it was about a week ago when you guys will be seeing this video. I'm recording Thursday night, so it's actually prior to the listing going active, but you will be hearing this after it's already gone active. So those of you that received your newsletter, you know that the listing is live, and if you wanted to get a large quantity, you were able to do so. If there's still some in the shop, definitely go over to the website and you'll be able to purchase it. If there's still any left, I don't know. I hope there is if you want some. But if it does sell out, that is more of an incentive for you to sign up for the newsletter so that you'd be well aware and well in advance when these things happen. I will primarily be making these kind of listings probably active on Fridays. I just feel like that's a pretty good time to do that for me, at least. I'm able to do that. So we're going to talk about it here. So I am, like I said, bringing fiber that has been processed into the shop, and I'm really excited. It was a lot of work, but it's very enjoyable work. So I talked about this a little bit in the last episode. But so the wool that I'm going to be listing as my first shop update with the bats, the hand spun bats. So this is woolen prep. So if you like to spin woolen, this is definitely in your wheelhouse. This would be something you would want. But I will disclaimer out there, it's also on the listing, is that there is lanolin in this still. I did not remove all of the lanolin. I like having lanolin in there. But that's me, and that may not be you. Hopefully it is you. But if it's not, totally okay. But I need to let you guys know that, especially if someone has sensitivity to lanolin. I know there are a few folks out there that do. So, but I'll show you without further ado. So this is 100% Suffolk. It is from a lady kind of near where I live here in Michigan. So this is wool from Michigan, and I processed it. I did multiple runs through my drum carder, my large drum carder that my husband built for me, which is really cool. You know, it has some quirks. We're learning. And I'll do a whole video about that here at some point, talking about my drum carder that he DIY'd and kind of the ins and outs of what that entails. It has its quirks, that's for sure, which we are learning every day I use it. So yeah, I want to show you guys this bat. So it is just bursting at the seams. So the bats are 100 grams. They're actually a little over 100, but I have that disclaimer because I put this through my drum carder 5 times. So these have been gone. Not only have they been handpicked, like washed. I've washed them, but they haven't been scoured to remove all the lanolin. So there's a lot of processing that went into this, and there is still some VM in it. So what I mean by that is, I think you guys can see it. You can see it in the listing as well. There is like a little bit of VM in here still. So you may run into that as you're spinning. And so I did weigh out quite a bit extra for loss, not only in the drum carder, but also because of veggie matter, you know, like little bits and bobs in there that will add weight, but won't stick around because you don't want it in there. So yeah, it is a natural color. The natural color of Suffolk is white. You may see like little bits of like light gray in there here and there, and a lot of times that's because the sheep getting closer to the face has a little bit of the darker color. And I'm going to give you guys a little lesson here if you're not familiar with Suffolk. I'm not an expert, so I was really excited to read this myself. So 100 grams in these bats. I have a limited supply of them. So again, when you're seeing this, it will be Saturday, so these may or may not still be in the shop, but if they are and you're wanting to nab one, what's better than to try to even just try one? I'm a big fan of trying breeds just to get an idea of what I would like, and the best part is it is 100 grams, so you could make something out of it. So you could do socks. I mean, you could do whatever you want, honestly. You can make a hat, scarf. It would be kind of a smaller scarf, but it's 100 grams. So depending how you spin it, you could spin it thinner. But I'll give you some specs about it because I'm new to Suffolk myself. So they fall under the down family. I am using my fleece and fiber source book by Deborah Robinson and Carol Karras. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Many love this book, and I do too. I love this book. I have like tons of flags in here of stuff. And I flagged this one. So this is the Suffolk page. And here is a picture of them if you want to see what they look like. They're there. And so they are primarily a white, and they are considered to be like a medium wool, medium like grade fleeces. They're 2 to 3.5 inches, and I do find that to be quite true for staple length. I'd say most of it fell more around that 3.5 mark, just so you know as a spinner. But however, if you're doing woolen spun, you're primarily, not always, but many times doing like long draw. So yeah, that staple length, I mean, I guess it's good to know, but there you go. It's 3.5 inches. Fleeces are around 4 to 8 pounds, so they're a decent sized fleece, and they are 25 to 33 microns. So that gives you a little bit of a fiber count diameter understanding. It's, you know, your typical medium wool. Definitely falls in that area. And yeah, natural color, white. It's really, really pretty and perfect example. So like this is not a bright white because, like I said, there's still quite a bit of lanolin in here. If you look at these examples here, this is washed and this is raw. Washed, raw. So mine is like this. It's washed, so it doesn't have like these nasty bits on it, but it still has lanolin in it. So that's why it's not like a bright white, just so you can kind of get an idea of why it looks a little more gray, kind of. It kind of has like a grayish tinge to it. It's the lanolin. There's lanolin in it. So keep that in mind. When you scour, you could scour this. So like once you spin it, you have to spin it first. I would not scour it otherwise because there'll be a mess. Don't do it. If you were to spin that and then use scour wash on your skein that you spun, that will remove a lot of the lanolin. I like to keep the lanolin in there. It keeps the water resistance properties, and if you're making socks and stuff, like that would be really nice. A hat, even like any outerwear wool garment or layer, having some of that water resistant properties would be a good thing. It's also antibacterial, like our antimicrobial properties, having that lanolin in there. So just saying, it's not a bad thing. But again, sensitivities, we do want to account for that. So yeah, it's a really nice medium wool, and you could dye it if you want to. It is a white color. So if you wanted to try dyeing on top of spinning it, this would be a great way. Hopefully you don't hear my husband. You probably do. He's he's chainsawing right now, so it's just loud. I've got the windows shut, even though it's beautiful outside, but it's still quite loud. Anyway, hopefully it's not annoying. But so that's the shop update end of things. So if you are one of the lucky few that can still nab one, definitely go over to the website and check it out. I, of course, will include a link below. And yeah, I hope that if you wanted it, you were able to get it. And if you weren't, definitely subscribe to my newsletter, because this, you would find out about these kind of things well in advance, so that the minute it goes active, you could nab one. So like the Suffolk one, it went active. I'm talking about something that hasn't happened yet, and it will have happened once you're watching this. So it's kind of weird to say. But so this will be going active tomorrow, the 14th of March at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So just so you kind of like get some bearings for the time frame on that. But yes, so I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. All right, and then we'll get into the work in progress. I've only done one. I only worked on one. I did not work on my half and half triangles wrap. I was going to, and then I just decided and went nuts on my sweater, and I'm glad I did. So my schedule at work has shifted so that I take shorter lunches, and then I can leave at an earlier time, which is so nice, because with the weather changing, gardening coming up, being able to do a lot of my chores earlier and actually get them done during the week is going to be so helpful, instead of only being able to do like larger projects on the weekend. That is just going to be so helpful. So I'm really appreciative of that. So the project that I worked on is my Arctica sweater. So I hope you guys are excited, because I made some serious progress. Because this is all I worked on. So we've got one sleeve, and I get to tell you all about this little sweater because it has had a couple moments. So we've got two sleeves, and now I'm working down the body. So I did what I talked about before. I had been working down the body, and then I stopped and I did the sleeves, because I wanted to make sure I had enough, because I was going to do a contrast color. Well, it wasn't a contrast, but it was the unspun for the ribbing that matched the collar. And I was going to do that and then use all the rest of this main color, which is the Lopi, for the body to make it longer, what have you. Well, let me tell you guys. So the first sleeve that I did it to pattern. This pattern is the Arctica sweater by the Petite Knitter. I didn't say that already. It called for a certain amount of decreases. I did that, and my sleeves were enormous. And by enormous, the sleeve, I'm trying to think of how to show this. My hand was like, we'll pretend it's in the sleeve. This is where my hand fell when I finished. And I was like, well, that won't work, because one, I will never wear it. Like, it's not only is it covering my, like, will get in the way. I mean, it really would get in the way, because my hand is in the sleeve. Like, I'd have to like shove it up my arm to get my hands out. So that would not work, because this is not a fitted cuff. It's a very loose cuff. So what I did is I went back and I thought, well, I'll just go like 2 decreases back and that'll be fine. And then I tried it on and I was like, no, because 2 decreases back, it was at my bracelet length. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work, because I still have a couple inches of ribbing I have to do. So what did I do? I then ripped back another whole decrease, because that distance of decrease is basically the ribbing. And now we should be good. It's very oversized. It's interesting because I knew that the bust measurements, the size that I'm doing is the size 2, so I knew it was going to be a decent size on me. Like, it was going to be big, because it is an oversized fit. So I knew that was going to happen, and I had gotten, well, you know what? I was like, I got gauge, and I'm thinking to myself, I did not gauge swatch. I don't think I did. I don't really gauge swatch ever. I just do like a couple rows usually, but I don't think I did. Probably should have. This would be a good example. Learning experience for everybody. Yeah. I think I was, I don't know. I was off somehow. I was off. So anyway, the long and short of it is that I basically had to keep redoing the sleeve, not redo the sleeve, but make adjustments to it multiple times. And then I replicated those adjustments to the other side. So second sleeve went really fast because I did not have all of the decreases that I did the first time. And so that one's done. Now I should try this on with both sleeves done. That would be the smart thing to do. Did I do that? No. Should I do that still? Yes. Will I do that? I don't know. Probably. I really should put this against my body and just kind of see where we're at. But I think we're good because this is a one sleeve fit nicely. And again, this one, this is a long sleeve fit. It's not a bracelet. Like my usual bracelet length is like this, where it's fitted at the sleeve. And this is my ideal sleeve. Oh, I should tell you which sweater I'm wearing, by the way. This is my first test knit. It is hand-dyed yarn. I made a one-of-a-kind colorway. It is a Cordale base that I tested out from a small farm. It's 100% Cordale and like farm wool is I guess what you'd call it, farm yarn. And then I took it and held it double, two different skeins, so that it would create this interesting heathered look. And because it's hand dyed, that's what will happen. Otherwise, it gets kind of pooly and stuff. So that worked out really well. I'm glad I did that. And the pattern is from Taylor E. Owen, and it's the Kingston cardigan. I love it. This is what I love her cardigans. If you're looking for a really comfortable, very flattering fit cardigan that gives you nice room under your arms, highly recommend, well, at least the Kingston cardigan, and I'm trying to remember her other one. I'm thinking most of hers, but especially her raglan style cardigans. Taylor E. Owen. I will link her below. And this is the Kingston cardigan. I love it. It's super cute. It's got this little, like, kind of a interesting raglan. It's kind of cabled. It's a cabled raglan, but then the cabling actually goes down the side as well. So it's really pretty. Anyway, side note. Squirrel. Goodness. Can't be helped. So anyway, yeah, working down this. I have one more skein of this and this little nubbin here, and then I will figure out when to do the ribbing here, which should be a little bit. I still have a little bit of distance here. But you guys, I did not end up using that other color on the cuffs because I was like, I don't think I need it. Because there was like this much of the sleeve that I did not end up knitting. So I'm thinking, well, double that. That might be the difference between that extra amount that I needed for the cardigan or the sweater in the main color, like the yardage. That might make the difference because of how I knit, apparently. I don't know. So I'll try it on. I will try this on. I'll try it on. I don't know. I feel pretty good about it. Sometimes I'm just gonna keep knitting it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I am my own worst enemy, and if I tell you guys, oh, it didn't work, no, you know what, I'm gonna try it on. I'll try it on. It's not that hard to try it on. I just have to put that little I have like a barber cord. I gotta put that on there so that I could try it on. Otherwise, I'll drop my stitches. I just know it. I've got my stitch stoppers on here, but I just know I'll drop it. Otherwise, they'll fall right off. But yeah, it's really, really fun. It's so beautiful, and I could totally finish this maybe before the end of March, which is crazy. But it's gonna be 70 degrees tomorrow in Michigan, so yeah, I won't be wearing this, that's for sure. But anyway, it won't be done by tomorrow anyway. Oh, I'm kidding. I love it. I love working on this. I love woolly wools. So pretty too. The colors are beautiful. And this is all out of Lopi that I had in stash that my mom found from our thrift store that was local to her. So I just love it. And she probably wants to run off with it because she loves her woolly wools too. Anyway, So that's it for my works in progress. As far as life update end of things, like I said, we are gardening a lot. I have been pretty engulfed in gardening, as well as taking care of course, the critters. Like I said, we have 2 new little chicks that we're taking care of to get ready to have more birds added to our little flock. We've got 2 full-grown chickens that are now going on, I think, their second year. I think they're 2 years now. And then we've got 2 ducks, same boat, and then the the bantams that we have. So we have a bunch of bantams. We have 6 female bantams and 2 little bantam roosters, and then one of them's a little spitfire. He likes to do dances and come after us, but I mean, he's not highly aggressive, and he's very tiny. I mean, he's like little spud, but he can be a little poop sometimes. So anyway, um, but that's his job. He's a rooster. He's protecting them, and yeah. So there's that, and the little birds are getting big. The little chicks have a lot of their little feathers are starting to grow in now, so that's fun. There are 2 Americanas, if I didn't say that, and then we have um, the sheep, which is so much fun. They're so fluffy. Oh my gosh. So I got my moccasins, and I did order moccasins for shearing. And you probably don't have to have moccasins, but I just keep thinking, like, I don't want to slip. And these girls have lanolin. They're Shetlands, and they definitely have lanolin. And so I'm going to be shearing them on like a piece of plywood. And so I really want to make sure that I don't like like it doesn't get slippery. And that's at least what I hear, because of the lanolin. It can get slippery, and if you're not wearing something like moccasins that are suede, you can slip and slide and disaster. The other good part about it is that because they're moccasins, my feet can move and like twist and everything, and I won't um, have to worry about like stepping sideways off of the sole of a shoe. It's just little things you have to think about, I guess, with these kind of stuff. I'm probably overthinking it, and but I'm just trying to be cautious. This is the first time I've ever done it, and I'm using blade shears, like I said. I make sure theirs are really sharp. That's important, that the blades are sharp. And then I also made sure that the tips aren't too sharp, because I don't want to don't want to poke them. That's for sure. It's a learning curve, but I'm excited about it. I'm really excited, and every time I play with the sheepies and rub their beautiful wool, I'm like, I can't wait, because I want to make a little sweater. And I say I'll make a sweater. There's more. There's gonna be more than enough wool to make more than one sweater, but I'm really excited. They're beautiful. Um, and then we have the 2 baby lambs that will be probably getting, I think, near the end of April. I think is kind of going to be the 10-week mark. Um, so that'll be fun to get them as well. We have 2 little ewes that we're going to get and add to the flock. We're looking for a dark brown and then a black, so that I can do some blending of natural colors. I love that. So very, very exciting. Exciting things. Again, more work, but sheep are, oh, it's just so wonderful. I literally sat with them, I'd say, for probably about an hour yesterday. I did my chores, and then I went out there and sat with them, and I literally was sitting with Lady. So Veiled Lady is one of our sheep, and she, like, her face, just, I was rubbing her chest, and she just dropped her little face down, closed her eyes, and was sleeping in my hand as I was rubbing her. And then I slowly just moved my hands up and started petting her little face and her ears, and she just slept, and then she like laid her little face on my leg. It was the sweetest. Sheep are so sweet. Rams, that's a different thing. But and they can be sweet. Like the baby rams, the little lambs are very sweet. Um they are, and I'm sure some, like, I think it was Amy. I wrote your name down, Amy. Thank you for your comment. Amy was so wonderful with her comments last time and in the last video. And yes, I did hear about that, and I appreciated you mentioning that. Is that if you get a ram, that you should definitely get them buddies, so that like other rams, especially like wethers, so castrated male rams, castrated rams, so that way they have buddies, so that way they're not alone. Because there is a tendency that, at least my understanding, is if they're by themselves and then you have the flock, because they're flock animals, and so if you have the flock of females together but the rams very much separated, they can get pretty aggressive because they're just angry. On top of, their testosterone and all that, they just get angry because they don't want to be by themselves. It goes against their nature, right? They want to be together in a group. So it totally makes sense, and I get that for sure, and I appreciate you saying that. So that's the thing, I guess we have to evaluate, is whether we can actually really do that. Like, can we have a separate area for rams? Because at least we wouldn't want them to be with the ewes at all times, just during like that breeding time. So we just have to figure out if we have enough room to do that, if we have the capacity to do that. It's a whole other level. Yeah, and then yeah, lambs, I could definitely see why that would be stressful, exciting but stressful. Like that, the breeder that we work with, that we purchase our sheep from, like, she has a significant amount of sheep, and yeah, she's basically going weeks barely any sleep because these lambs are being born all the time. So it's one of those things where it's like, it stresses me out. And she's a vet, like she deals with animals, so she gets it, and I'm not, and that does intimidate me a little bit, I have to say. Anyway, all that's to say, if we are able to afford to purchase them and do it that way, that might be the way we do it for right now. Like the ewes, and then kind of raise them and take care of them on fiber seeds. That might be the route. But I also have a lot of wonderful other little bats and stuff to make from fleeces of different breeds, and I'll totally talk about all those as they come. It's going to be a process because it's a lot of work. Like I said, when I do the bats, for the most part, they go through at least about 5 times, but it does depend on the dirtiness of the fleece. If it was a rather clean fleece, I probably won't need to run it through the drum carder 5 times. That seems to be a bit excessive, but yeah, exciting stuff in the works for the future. I've been working, like I said, I worked on the garden, and I literally put down a bunch of straw. So first I weeded like crazy. Got a hoe out and I was weeding because it's now the frost line is going down. So I I weeded a bunch of it, all the walkways in the fenced in veggie garden, and then I put down straw in half of it, and then I need to do the other half still. So I've been trying to be proactive about that, because I really want to not have the abundance of weeds I had last year. It was horrific. I would go out there and I would be so irritated. And it's one of those things where it was just maddening. Like trying to get in front of it, it just wasn't happening. And so I'm trying to get in front of it, as in like before the weeds get bad, like before they start getting bad, like let's get on top of it, Sarah. So yeah, it's a great distraction from everything else that we're dealing with in life right these days. So there's always something. So yes, it's a good distraction. So I've been working on the garden, like I said, and all that good stuff. Lots of fun stuff. I haven't done a lot of spinning, but I did do a little bit. I do have a little mini bat of the Suffolk for myself. So um, I had about 50 grams extra of the Suffolk, and I batted that up. I made it into a bat for myself so that I can spin a bat too, because I would really like to try it out myself. And then I can show you guys what that looks like too. But anyway, I have two more, actually, two more uh, little balls of fluff from my Melly Knit True North Advent to finish. So I'm in the midst of one, and then I have one more to do, and then all of the Advent minis from Melly Knits will be done. I have to say, I loved that Advent. I would highly recommend it as a Advent. I think it's like the gift that just keeps on giving, because even though I love hand dyed yarn Advents, I'm a little partial, have to say. But I really enjoyed the fiber one because we have to have a wheel or a drop spindle, but to spin it and then I'm going to be able to knit something with it on top of that. It's like all this projects I can do. It's one project and another project. They were all processed and cleaned, and it's just so much fun. Anyway, I could ramble on forever, but I love to hear what you guys are up to. If it's starting to get warmer by you, have you gotten bit by the spring bug? Because I sure have. I mean, we're mid-March now. It is definitely like, springtime. And I want to do all the things. Now, not all the things spring oriented, but I mean like gardening and all that. Like I really want to be on top of that this year. And I'm gonna cut back on, like I said, some of the things I plant, but I think I'm going to. So last year was kind of a weird test period. I tried to grow a few things and some things did well, some things didn't. Again, Amy, I appreciate your comment because yeah, it's true. Like sometimes the season is just kind of wonky and it kind of ruins it for the veg. But so this year, the things that grew but didn't grow great, I'm gonna still try them again, especially the things that I really liked. So like those tomatoes, I'm definitely gonna be doing tomatoes, and I'm gonna move them to a different bed, and I'm going to um, plant those out, like do decent full beds of it. And then I'm gonna be doing okra again. I loved okra. That stuff grew really well. So I'm gonna be growing okra again, but I'll probably put more. Like I'll spread it out and make more. Yeah, okra was really good. I want to try eggplant again, this time doing more plants instead of just 2 plants. I'm going to definitely do more than that because I like eggplant a lot. I want to try doing squash again because I love squash and Dan does like squash. My husband Dan, he likes squash. And then what else do I want to try to grow? Potatoes just seem to always find their way. I I don't plant potatoes. They just are still there because I don't get them all out. It happens. Yeah, sweet potatoes. I might try growing those again. I love sweet potatoes, but they weren't very prolific. They they didn't do so well. So I think I need to learn a little bit more about that. So maybe this year I won't do sweet potatoes. Maybe I'll just be like, no sweet potatoes. We have what is it called? Asparagus. Asparagus. We have asparagus. This would be the 4th year for the asparagus, so that's exciting. Actually, it might be the 5th year. No, yes, 5th year. This will be the 5th year for the asparagus. It does really well. The hardest part with asparagus is being on top of the asparagus. Let me tell you, I usually wait too long, and that stuff grows crazy fast. Like 1 second, it'll be like this big, and then the next day, all of a sudden, it's like this big. It's like 3 feet tall. Stuff grows really fast. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep rambling now, but yes, I think I might try doing pea pods again. I do like my pea pods. And yeah, I think that's it. We have rhubarb, of course. Rhubarb will be coming back. I love my rhubarb. And strawberries. And I'm trying to actually I put straw in my strawberries this year. You guys, I don't know why. I did not realize you're supposed to put straw around your strawberry plant. They're called strawberries, for a reason apparently. Oh boy. Learning curve, learning curve. So yes, I put straw down for them as well. So we'll see, see if I actually get a jump on this stuff this year. It would be nice. Anyway, I hope you guys are well, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care. Bye.